Hello, this is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, bringing you another edition of Dragons and Modern. I laugh because I've been having some issues with branding on this particular for this particular deck. Sometimes I call it Keeping Modern Janky because you see Mantis Rider. No one plays White Orchid Phantom, plays Strike It Rich, but then we're still testing out dragons, and we are testing out, in particular, not another land. Well, they're making our White Orchid Phantom plan not so much fun. Anyway, we're testing out Shiko, Paragon of the Way, and I'd labeled it Dragons in Modern for my schedule, and so I guess that's what we're going for. And it is the Mythic. What is this? Ooh, black white. Is this that Ketramose deck? So anyway, yeah, we've been looking to test out all the new Mythic dragons from Tarkir Dragonstorm. So that's probably the main reason I should be calling it Dragons in Modern. Opponent not doing anything. Alright. Must have a Ketramose. We at least have an answer for Ketramose. What do we care about? We need blue eventually, but we can go without it for another turn, I think. We have the Steam Vents. Ragavan we will put on top. Let's get the party started with the blowing up of the lands. I wonder if they're a return target spell to your his controller's hand, draw a card. It's not remand, but the white version of it. Hopefully not Death and Taxes. And blow that up. I see. Ophelia. They're going to blink it in response. Or, yeah. That's whenever it attacks. I get it. Got it. Everything's fine. I totally understand what's happening right now. We will go ahead and bolt Ophelia before they start doing nonsense with it. Alright, next turn we can Ragavan and Mantis Rider, or we can Skyclave Apparition and Ragavan, depending on what they do. Looks like they might be one of these enchantment decks. They have the blink shenanigans going on. At least we have another answer if they have another Ophelia. Granted, it comes down flash, so it's not our best answer. Orcish Bowmasters. Haven't seen that one in a while. Ping it for one, sure. Yeah, it's possible what we should have done is held on to our Lightning Bolt, went ahead and played the Ragavan, and then Skyclave Apparition on the Ophelia, but letting them untap with it is scary. Alright, so I think Ephemerate. Okay, yeah, a little shenanigans gonna kill her. White Orchid Phantom, yeah. You got us, homie. You got us. So, I mean, do we even want to run out of Ragavan into probably another Orcish Bowmasters? So far, I've been really impressed with Mantis Rider. This secret all-star, I would say. Yeah, I don't think we have any more Surveil lands in the deck. We got rid of the Meticulous Archive. No, I think there's some of the blue. Alright, we're going to hold on to the Ragavan. We'll save that for a dash threat in the late game. Yeah. Might as well. Flash your Orcish. Do something with your Orcish Bowmasters. Anyway, Mantis Rider has been pretty impressive, I would say. Really liked it. The haste, the vigilance, the flying, all of it. The triple keywords happens to be a pretty good. Yep. Pinging me, it looks like, so they must not have any other way to deal damage to the Mantis Rider. So our Skyclave Apparition against a flash deck, blink deck, is not going to be at its best, but we might be able to catch him tapped out for something. Yeah, getting a Shiko would be pretty nice. Not that we have that much in the graveyard. So I've been tweaking the deck some. I added Seasoned Pyromancer to this build and Flage. I'm working on a control version just to have in the article as well to show off a different approach. And I added a Board Oculus and Seasoned Pyromancer to that. So it's like more creature based. Took out the Fairy Time Raveler. It doesn't seem that powerful in today's modern. And we want to fill our graveyard. Ketramose. Let's see. When one or more. Okay. That's fine. Hopefully they don't have the shenanigans. Even if they do, we can get rid of it, but they may have an ephemerate. Sure. No, we do not have any of those. Okay. Oopsie. That does seem like a bit of an oversight. No steam vents? Interesting. Interesting choice, Johnny Cycles. It must be in the other deck. Alright, they have the ephemerate. It's a second ephemerate, I'll be sad. They waited and waited to cast this Ketramose until... I mean, they had other things to do, obviously, but they held on to the Ketramose for a while. We would really like this to happen the way we want it to happen. Okay, looks like they're going to have the ephemerate. Oh no, just a swamp. Going for the Mantis Rider. The race is on. It's possible we should have held on to this, but I don't know. Because we want having a red permanent for the double side of a Johnny's nice, but we are a ways away from that. Maybe we'll draw another Johnny. Okay, well, Mantis Rider showing its worth. Now, what would be a good draw right now? Shiko. Casting Shiko, getting the Mantis Rider back. Swinging for 3, presenting lethal in the air. Answered the first Ketramose. Do they have a second Ketramose? I mean, the Wizards really did a number on Ketramose. So, like, it says, look, whenever one or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and or the battlefield during your turn, you draw a card and lose a life. Which I guess they were probably thinking, okay, well, we don't want it to be so powerful that it can punish, that it can, when people are delving on their turn, for instance, we don't want them to get that benefit. But then, adapt, yep, gonna get... Sure, alright, so is it going, can it blink itself? One other, alright. Gotta blink the Bowmasters. Well, that makes it easier. Could preserve our life total, I guess. That might have been a mistake. Probably should have gone since it was getting exiled anyway. But rest in peace, since it comes down on our turn. I thought at one point I was like, man, I'm going to do 11 damage to our opponent who had so many cards. There's so many cards in their graveyard, but it only happens on their turn. All right, what do we want? We would love a Shiko. This is a... Yes! I've spoken it into existence. I mean, this is where Shiko can really shine. We're in a grindy, mid-range kind of match. And I haven't had a chance to really say Shiko has won us a bunch of games, but he's about to win us a game, hopefully. So we can bolt, or we can just Mantis Rider. Alright, they got 2 cards. They're dead on board if they don't do something. I mean, if we win this game, it's going to be on the back of 3 cards that don't see much play in Modern. Mantis Rider, Shiko, Skyclave Apparition. 4 White Orchid Phantom, but I mean, I'm not sure how much it actually did for us. Alright, opponent, what do you have? Can you kill us? You don't have any creatures in your graveyard for this Emperor of Bones. We can chump block if we feel like it. We're at 8, so we're going to end up having to chump block some. Double Ephemerate and Orcish Bowmasters would do 4 damage to us, and if we don't chump block both, then we're taking... That would give us 8, but we don't want to block with a Shiko on a 4, because then they can Orcish Bowmasters it and finish it off. I mean, what you got, homie? This is the game. This is it. We drew our best top deck right when we needed to. Solitude. Gonna blink or exile the Shiko. Do they have an Ephemerate? They have the Ephemerate too on top of this, their last card. They do not. I was gonna be real salty. Flicker Wisp. Just more blink shenanigans. Might as well be a Ephemerate. So opponent had their last 3 cards were basically the perfect answer to our perfect top deck. And then they can exile, but they already have the counters on it. I'm gonna get my White Orchid Phantom now that they know we're a graveyard deck. Opponent, man, just top decking the right things at the right time. I mean, if we do this, they just get another 3, so we'll just take it. And now a Shiko is not enough. We don't have what we need. Man, our opponent just top decking on top of us top decking, I guess, is the way to look at that. Trying to figure out my best way of tapping. Alright, they're out of cards, and we're about to put 3 bodies on the board. None of which have, per se, evasion. However, we can, if hopefully our opponent can, we'll top deck a winning card. So we can first strike block there. We can double block a 4-drop, take 3. No, double block a 4-drop. Well, half the chump block. We're gonna end up we're in the business of chump blocking. However, Johnny might keep us alive if we can just dodge some nonsense from our opponent and find some more action from our deck. Oh man, I thought the Shiko was going to get us, but man, the last 3 cards in our opponent's hand were the perfect answer to our Shiko. Solitude to get Shiko, Flicker Wisp to get the token copy, which is one reason why Shiko is not quite as good. Alright, so they're going to attack. I mean, I assume they're going to attack with everybody. Oh no, they're not. Must have Ophelia or something. Strike it rich. Really not what we wanted. So if we swing in, they go to 4, and then they can just swing back. And also they have... I have a feeling there's Ophelia coming. I can't imagine our opponent doesn't top deck exactly what they need in that moment. Alright, we draw a useless Striker Rich. Would it be better as a Soul God Lantern? God of Souls? Possibly. We're just going to flash that back. We will also not attack. So Emperor Bones probably going to take our final action card from the graveyard. They did not have the Ophelia. Let's make note of that. So assuming our opponent is top decking as well as they have been, well, they are not. And they're going to 3. It must be Solitude time. Going for the win. Solitude on... Yep, sure. Alright, well, we can draw a Lightning Bolt. Now Shiko's a dead draw on that front. Just gonna be safe. Hit us for 3 in the air. Alright, opponent. It's been a fun game. Let's see if we can top deck a Lightning Bolt. Man, what a brutal game. I thought for sure we were going to get there. I mean, I guess it was a little greedy because we had the... they had 3 cards in hand, but I guess, you know, we just don't expect them to have the 3 perfect cards. Rest in Peace can come in. Counterspell. I don't know. How much of a... How aggressive do we want to be here? If we bring in the Rest in Pieces, do we take out the Shikos for Magmatic Calcite? Perhaps. Flage is a dead card if Rest in Peace is in, but it also does... What's better than Ragavan? Counterspells, maybe? Counterspell even what we want in our... I don't know. I don't know. Wear Tear... They do... Okay, so let's bring in the Wear Tears, because we're being very reactive, and I don't know if that's the right play or not. But we have a lot of stuff to do against them that can help us shore up our matchup against them. Rest in Peace being one of the best. Wear Tear to answer one of their artifact or enchantments. I mean, we'll keep... we don't have what we need blue too. We don't have a Rest in Peace, but we have the Johnny. We have the Wear Tear to answer if they put down in one of their dumb enchantments, and then we have Magmatic Hellkite to play towards, which is not at its best against a deck 2-color deck, but it does put a 4/5 flying body on the battlefield. I mean, if one of Johnny's good, two's better, right? Go for the Ajani win for a change. It's totally fair. In our Dragons in Modern. Alright, well, we'll see what our opponent has. Hopefully no Fatal Push. You know, you just want to run out a Overlord of some kind, the Black Overlord. Alright, preserving their life total. Another useless land. I'm so tired of Solitude being in this format. The blink shenanigans, man. It's like you supposedly go down a card, but in reality, so often you have the Ephemerate, and you don't. You just get a 3-for-1. This is as bad as, it's not as bad as the Grief, but it's still pretty bad. So then they got to do it again, which means we don't even want to cast our Ajani, because then they'll just Ephemerate targeting our Ajani. So it's like a Time Walk on top of. Yeah, I mean, it just disgusting. Alright, well, opponent, congratulations on your nut draw of Solitude and Ephemerate. I mean, the free spells in Modern, they're not as bad as they were with Fury and Grief now gone, but I mean, the power of this particular draw is also obnoxious. So I think we want to get rid of this because this can flip into whatever this is. Although, do we even... Yeah, we do play Rest in Peace, so... Now this from the sideboard. This does turn on their Fatal Push, though, if they have one. Yep. So I think at this point our opponent is probably going to want, even with their lands being under pressure if they blink our Magmatic Alkite, they can attack with Ophelia and let it die and have Solitude exiled, or they can exile our Magmatic Alkite, hit us for 5 every turn and lose a land on top of it. I mean, we could also run Ophelia as an alternative 2-drop. That gets us a little bit of value from Shiko, and we have a lot of ETB effects because of Shiko, so bringing that back. And I am, the deck has a couple of flex spots, I feel like. We want... I mean, you could say Mantis Rider is a flex spot, to be honest. It doesn't have an ETB, but with its haste, it's essentially a 3 damage ETB. It's such a powerful card in closing out games, but is it more powerful than some of these other cards? That's up for... Alright, so they're going to do the Blinking of the Solitude. I wonder if they're going to then also Ephemerate their Ophelia. Fatal Push. Oh, what a combo. Brutal. Brutal. Now they keep their Ophelia. Solitude has no target, but, it doesn't need one when you can just get rid of that with a Fatal Push. Alright, what can we find? Rest in Peace is a dead draw. We need Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt? Not another land, though. That's kind of like the worst draw for us. Wear Tear's looking bad, too. Maybe they're not an Overlord deck. Most of the Blink shenanigans in Black-White I thought played Overlords. Could just be that we are... Hey, there it is, an Overlord deck. I was wrong. Or I was right. So this is an enchantment. We'll let them attack, because we want them to target. And we want to triple block, I guess, to try to shut down some of these shenanigans. What did they find? Oh, they're just going to go for the cat token. Man, a lot of lands, hitting a lot of lands. I think maybe Flage would be a good target or a good draw for us. Mantis Rider is not a bad draw if it doesn't just get killed immediately. So I mean they're winning the race though with the Solitude that they cast on turn 2 and Ephemerated. They're gonna win with that because every turn they can attack blink or attack blink, swing in, get in the damage, and we're left with just not a lot. We took out the Shikos for a reason, so Magmatic Hellkite's our best draw right now. All right, what are you gonna blink this time? The Mantis Rider, because why not? This is a Blink doing what Blink does, I suppose. Another Overlord. Yeah, I can't say that I have enjoyed this. The first game it was much more enjoyable because it felt more competitive. They didn't have the turn 2 Solitude nonsense, but this game has really shown off the power of the free spell in Modern still that still exists. So, all right, well, for CyclesGaming.com, this is Johnny Cycles. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all in the next one.